In this issue of Spacecraft Guide, we are going to focus on a new system, and this is the system that the astronauts used from when they were in orbit getting rid of the boosters to when they separated and started their descent back to Earth. And that is the sequence system. And for this week, we are going to focus specifically on the Jettison fairing push button. And when you click on it, it takes you to the Jettison fairing push button switch. Now, what this switch does, it's used at the end of the second phase engine thrust decay by the command pilot to jettison the nose fairing of the horizontal scanner head cover. So if we go into general, it's going to take us here into the system description. And what we're doing is actually removing the cover for this part here so we can get the antennas out, the snub antenna here, the recovery HF whip antenna. All this can be accessed by getting rid of the fairing over it, actually. The recover whip antenna is another day that we'll be talking about that. But all this is covered up so that when you're launching, that none of the sensitive equipment gets destroyed, or maybe it just gets knocked out of alignment a little bit, and then they can't use it for the mission. So that's what we're talking about. To go back, we're going to understand a little bit more of why this all is important. We're going to talk a little bit about the panel. So I'm going to go back, and here we can see the switches as they go in order. Again, this is on the top, the jet fairing, then the separation from the spacecraft, then the indicative retrofire. So here we're starting to descend back to Earth. So what's happening here is like in a phase of a flight, like an airplane, when you take off, you bring the gear up, and then you might bring the flaps up, and then you accelerate to your cruise altitude, and then you're at cruise, and then you start down. So this is like a manual checklist where they're knocking things off. They put this, as you see, in an order going down all the way to where you jettison the retro as you're just about ready to go through the atmosphere. So that is what's special about this line here, that it's really, like I said, is a mechanical checklist where the switches are in order of what you have to do. And that goes on this sequence, as it's called, the sequence of going up and coming back down. That's still used today, but it's all in a menu. So that's what what this has to do with an aircraft. So we're going to go back to the jettison fairing push button switch. We're now going to go a little bit deeper into the schematics. So if you are a Patreon subscriber, even a free Patreon subscriber, we're going to go deeper into it. If you're not a Patreon subscriber, even on our free side, now might be a good time to do that. So when you click on schematics,